Welcome everybody, a new day and a great new episode every Wednesday, with your beautiful support, by subscribing and liking the video, and also for sure, sharing the video. The channel gets bigger and better. Enjoy watching. The Nanchang Q-5, Chinese, -5. Pinyin, Qiang-5. NATO reporting name, Fantan, also known as the A-5 in its export versions, is a Chinese-built single-seat, twin-jet engine ground attack aircraft based on the Soviet MiG-19. However, the aircraft is primarily used for close air support. Role: ground attack aircraft, national origin, People's Republic of China, manufacturer, Nanchang Aircraft MFG Company. First flight, June 10, 1965. Introduction, 1970, retired, 2011 by Pakistan Air Force, 2015 by Bangladesh Air Force, 2017 by PLA Air Force. Status: out of production. Active service. Primary users: PLA Air Force, Pakistan Air Force, Myanmar Air Force, Bangladesh Air Force. Produced, 1969 to 2012. Number built, 1,300, approximately. Developed from, Shenyang J6. Operational history: the Sudanese Air Force employed its A-5 attack jets during the war in Darfur. In March 2015, some Myanmar Air Force A-5C jets flying sorties against the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, accidentally dropped bombs on a Chinese village in Gangma County, Yunnan inside the Chinese border, killing 4 villagers, with the PLA responding by deploying Headquarters 12 surface-to-air missiles and fighter jets. On April 20, 2017, 2 Q-5s were seen in Bohai Bay practicing airstrikes against ground targets in the wake of increased tensions on the Korean peninsula. Specifications: Q-5D, General Characteristics, Crew, 1, Length, 15.65 meters, 51 feet 4 in, Wingspan, 9.68 meters, 31 feet 9 in, Height, 4.33 meters, 14 feet 2 in, Wing area, 27.95 m2, 300.9 square feet, Empty weight, 6,375 kilograms, 14,054 pounds. Gross weight, 9,486 kilograms, 20,913 pounds. Max takeoff weight, 11,830 kilograms, 26,081 pounds. Power plant, 2X Liming Weapon 6A afterburning turbojet, engines, 29.42 kilonewtons, 6,610 pound forces, thrust each drive, 36.78 kilonewtons, 8,270 pound forces, with afterburner. 600 kilometers, 370 miles. 320 mi, high-low high, service ceiling, 16,500 meters, 54,100 feet, rate of climb, 103 meters per second, 20,300 feet per minute, wing loading, 423.3 kilograms per meter 86.7 pounds per square foot, armament, 600 kilometers, 370 miles. 320 mi, high-low high. Guns, 2X Norinco Type 23-2K 23mm, 0.906 in, cannon, 100 rounds per gun, hard points, 10, 4X under fuselage, 6X under wing, with a capacity of 2,000 kilograms, 4,400 pounds, rockets, 57 mm, 90 mm, 130 mm unguided rocket pods. Missiles, PL-2, PL-5, PL-7 air-to-air missiles, bombs, 50 kilograms, 110 pounds, 150 kilograms, 250 kilograms, 500 kilograms unguided bombs, BL-755 cluster bombs, Matra Durandal anti-runway bombs, others, fuel tanks, 105 US gal, 400 L, 200 US gal, 760 L, 300 US gal, 1100 L. Design and development. The PRC was an enthusiastic user of the MiG-19, which it manufactured locally as the Shenyang J6 from 1958. In August 1958, the People's Liberation Army requested development of a jet attack aircraft for the air support role. Liu Xiaopeng was appointed chief designer of this project. Liu also designed the J-12 fighter jet. Although based on the MiG-19, the new design, designated Qiangji G-5, fifth attack aircraft design, had a longer fuselage. Area ruled to reduce transonic drag and accommodate a 4 meters, 13-foot, long internal weapons bay. The air intakes were moved to the fuselage sides to make space in the nose for a planned target radar, which was never actually fitted. New wings with greater area and reduced sweep were incorporated. The Q-5 shares the J-6's Liming weapon WP-6A, Tumansky Road 9, turbojet engines. The redesign cost some high-altitude speed, but the Q-5 is as fast as the MiG-19 per Joule 6 at low level, thanks largely to the area-ruled fuselage. Fixed armament of the Q-5 was reduced to two Type 23-1 23mm cannon with 100 rounds per gun, mounted in the wing roots. 2 pylons under each wing and 2 pairs of tandem pylons under the engines were provided in addition to the weapons bay. A total of 1,000 kilograms, 2,205 pounds, of ordnance could be carried internally, with an additional 1,000 kilograms externally. On many aircraft the weapons bay is now used primarily for an auxiliary fuel tanks. Production drawings were completed in 1960 allowing construction of prototypes to begin, but the political climate in China resulted in the project being cancelled in 1961. A small team kept the program alive until its work restarted in earnest at Nanchang. The first flight finally occurred on June 10, 1965. Series production began in 1969, with squadron delivery starting in 1970. About 1,000 aircraft were produced, 600 of them being the updated Q-5A, a small number. Perhaps a few dozen Q-5As were modified to carry nuclear weapons. These are believed to retain their internal weapons bay. A long-range Q-5I, introduced in 1983, added a fuel tank instead of the internal weapons bay, compensating for that with the provision of 2 additional underwing pylons. Some of these aircraft serve with the PLA Navy, and have apparently been equipped with radar to guide anti-ship missiles. Subsequent minor upgrades include the Q-5IA, with a new gun bomb sighting system and avionics, and the Q-5II, with radar warning receiver, RWR. In the 1980s, the aircraft was exported to nations such as Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and is often known as the A-5 in those nations. Plans for an upgraded Q-5 per R-5 with Western equipment and new navigation and attack, NavAttack, systems were largely aborted following the Tiananmen Square protests of 1989. But the aircraft continues in service. It is a capable light attack aircraft, although its limited navigation and weapons delivery systems are inferior to more modern aircraft. In more recent years, the PLAF has begun to field newer models of the Q-5 that incorporate some of the technology developed during the cancelled Q-5M and Q-5K projects. The Q-5 introduces a nose-mounted laser rangefinder, and a laser designator is also likely to be fitted since the aircraft is said to be able to deliver laser-guided bombs. The Q-5A variant is believed to be capable of delivering nuclear munitions. The Q-5D is an upgrade with new avionics, including a HUD and a new navigation system. The Q-5E and Q-5F models are reportedly being worked on, though little is known about them at this time. One of them could potentially be the new 2-seater that has been seen in a few photographs, although the 2-seater could bear the designation Q-5J. Operational history: the Sudanese Air Force employed its A-5 attack jets during the war in Darfur. In March 2015, some Myanmar Air Force A-5C jets flying sorties against the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army accidentally dropped bombs on a Chinese village in Gangma County, Yunnan inside the Chinese border, killing 4 villagers, with the PLA responding by deploying Headquarters 12 surface-to-air missiles and fighter jets. On April 20, 2017, two Q-5s were seen in Bohai Bay practicing airstrikes against ground targets in the wake of increased tensions on the Korean peninsula. Variants: domestic variants, Q-5, original production version with a total of 6 pylons, 2 under each wing and 2 under the fuselage, and was superseded by the Q-5A. Q-5G, Q-5 modified to carry nuclear bombs. Only a very limited number were built. 317G radar was tested as improvement program. One of such aircraft is currently on display at the Aviation Museum in Beijing. Q-5E, torpedo attacker for Navy, only few manufactured. YJ-8 anti-ship missile was also being considered, but the program was cancelled due to budget problem even though the missile was well developed. And afterwards missile test launches were conducted from Type 24 missile boat. In 80s, YJ-81 was once mounted for test, but this proposition was soon rejected when it was decided to let JH-7 take the role. Q-5I, Q-5A, Q-5 with the internal weapon bay replaced by internal fuel tank, increasing fuel capacity over 70%. Like all previous Q-5 variants, navigation was still a bottleneck, with the result being that aircraft must fly longer times in more complex search patterns in long-range strikes. However, this problem is somewhat reduced by the increased fuel capacity. An indigenous Type 79Y4 laser rangefinder developed by No. 613 Institute was fitted. Q-5IA, Q-5B, improved Q-5I, radar warning receiver and flare dispensers added. The original weapon aiming sight of the Q-5 was developed by No. 5311 factory, and named as SH-1, short for Shi, Hong Shoot Bomb 1, which only had limited capability because attacks could only be carried out at a fixed angle. No. 5311 factory developed an improved version SH-1I to allow the attack to be carried out at different angles. Extra outer pylon under each wing added for PL-2 and PL-5 air-to-air missiles, bombs or rocket launchers. Q-5-2, Q-5C, Q-5I with omnidirectional radar warning receivers. Later, Type 205 pulse Doppler navigation radar was installed on several planes to solve the navigation problem. Q-5-3, foreign trade variant, export name A-53 and A-5C. Project Long 6, Dragon 6. Total 10 pylons, with 1 extra pylon under each wing for R-550 and AIM-9 air-to-air missiles. Q-5 with indigenous nav attack system, Project CC. Q-5I with indigenous Type 205 Doppler navigation system, Q-5 HK-15 laser rangefinder and SH-1 sight. 1 year later, head-up display and air data computer were incorporated into system. The whole system finally got approved in 1992, and relevant technology was applied to Q-5D several years later. Q-5-4, Q-5M, Q-5D, old Project CI. Joint Chinese-Italian project to upgrade the Q-5-2 with Italian avionics from the AMX International AMX attack fighter. Avionics would include a ranging radar, head-up display, inertial navigation system, air data computer and dual central computers, all integrated via dual redundant MILSTD1553B databus. Completion and first deliveries were to take place in late 1988 and early 1989 respectively, 28.8% change in comparison to the closest earlier version. 2 central computers like that of Q-5M and new RW-30 radar warning receivers were added. ALR-1 laser rangefinder and QHK-10 head-up display developed by No. 613 Institute were added. Although the project was influenced after the Tiananmen Square protest of 1989, it was approved to continue by China and Italy in 1992. New upgrade items such as IFR and Eland, etc. were put into program. Due to the loss of time, it failed to enter production. Q-5D, C, composite material demonstrator for Q-5D, old, Q-5II guy, Q-5K, Q-5E, old Project CF, joint Chinese-French project to upgrade Q-5-2 with French avionics, such as VE-110 head-up display, ULIS 91, inertial navigation system, TMV-630, laser rangefinder and other electro-optics. Like the Q-5M and A-5M, the project was cancelled after the Tiananmen Square protest of 1989. So some indigenous equipment such as Doppler radar, jammer etc. were used to achieve further progress. It was terminated in 1993. Q-5D, interim attack aircraft introduced during the 1996 Taiwan Strait crisis. The separate Doppler navigation system and GPS of the Q-5C was replaced by the DG-1, integrated Doppler navigation and GPS system. Other systems included the ALR-1, laser rangefinder and marked target seeker and QHK-10, head-up display. A new weapon aiming sight, the SH-12, replaced the older SH-1I, and number 5311. Factory managed to successfully integrate this sight with the new laser rangefinder and Type 205 navigation radar. Q-5E, new pylon with ability to mount laser-guided bombs such as LS-500J, LGB, fire control system also improved. Laser pod is absent from the plane due to weight issue. Q-5F, laser designator pod carrier, special large belly right pylon mounted for laser targeting pod, which is always false recognized as semi-buried electro-optical targeting pod. Q-5 grams, Q-5E, with belly conformal fuel tank to solve the range problem. JQ-5J, tandem two-seater of Q-5, the manufacturer claimed that it could be used as forward air control like the OA-10A, and providing targeting information via data links. The rear seat is 286 mm higher than the front seat, enables the back seat pilot to have a 5-degree field of vision, and the canopy opens to the right. When used as a trainer, the rear cockpit control can override that of the front cockpit. Q-5L, upgraded Q-5C, with LLTVFLIR vision systems for a day-night capability. Infrared imaging and television cameras were mounted on nose orb. Other improvements include head-up display, GPS-RX, INS, TACAN, and chaff and flare dispensers. Weapons capability include the Chinese LS-500J, laser-guided glide bombs with a 12 km range. Optional belly conformal fuel tank. Q-5N, upgraded Q-5D with same upgrade program as Q-5L. Main difference is navigation system of Q-5D. Export variants, A5, export designation for version of the Q-5, to North Korea in 70s that appeared in Chinese media. The designation contains more than one variant since the Chinese military aid to North Korea is protracted, but it's not clear whether this export version is derived from Q-5, Q-5A, Q-5I or Q-5IA. A5IA, modified version of Q-52, sold to Sudan. A5E, export version of Q-53, sold to Myanmar. A53 A5C, export version with Western equipment upon customers' requests, such as flight instrumentation made by Rockwell Collins, and Western ejection seat made by Martin Baker. Added the capability to fire Western missiles such as the R-550, Magic or AIM-9 Sidewinder. Exported to Pakistan. A5EA, exported to Bangladesh. Bangladesh Air Force's A5CS have been upgraded in 2008 to fire LS-6 and LT-2 ground attack munitions, giving them advanced strike capability. A54 A5M, export version of Q-5M with more Western equipment such as flight instrumentation made by Rockwell Collins, and Western ejection seat made by Martin Baker. Added the capability to fire Western missiles such as the R-550, Magic or AIM-9 Sidewinder. Myanmar ordered, but chose EEC instead after program extension. Evaluated by the Pakistan Air Force in 1990. Current operators, Myanmar, North Korea, Sudan. Former operators, Bangladesh, China, People's Liberation Army Air Force, retired in 2017. People's Liberation Army Navy, retired in 2017, Pakistan. Pakistan Air Force No. 7 Squadron Bandits operated A-5C from 1983 until circa 1990. Number 26 Squadron Black Spiders operated A-5C, from 1984 until February 2010. Number 16 Squadron Black Panthers operated A-5C, from 1983 until April 2011. Thank you very much for watching the video. Like, subscribe and share. We are waiting for your comments to enrich the content. Thanks again, and good night.